Harrenhal's been cursed since its first stone was laid. Black hadn't felled the grove of weirwood trees, heart trees imbued with the spirits of those who lived long before he came.
In this video, I'll break down the 4th episode of season 2 and we'll discuss details like what did Alys Rivers feed Daemon and what it does, the pieces at the painted table, Eyre aka Gerold Hightower from the Tower of Joy scene appearing in this episode, and the painting showing Valyrians laying with dragons, etc. So stay tuned for that. Greetings Throne Watchers, let's take a look at the Blacks first. Daemon first has a vision of the throne room where he sees young Rhaenyra again. The banner on the wall is a red three-headed dragon on black, which is both the old house Targaryens and Rhaenyra's current sigil. Daemon eventually ends up beheading her when she says Viserys loved her more than him. Then he wakes up with something red on his hand. My guess is it's either blood or the weirwood paste, and later he also has a vision where he sees Aemond. He follows Aemond only to find his and Aemond's love child, Daemon. Just kidding. I think this confirms what I have said before, that Daemon sees his younger self in Aemond. I have already discussed their similarities before. So when Daemon follows Daemon inside, he finds Alys Rivers, who tells him things she shouldn't have known and therefore grabs his attention. Is it just me, or is Alys trying really hard to widen the gap between Rhaenyra and Daemon? Anyways, Alys says exactly what I had mentioned in my episode 3 breakdown video, like Harrenhal being cursed for a very long time, or Harren cutting 3000 years old weirwood trees to use them as beams and rafters in Harrenhal, etc. I have also mentioned all the houses that became extinct after taking possession of Harrenhal, and how the curse went all the way back to the Andals, and who put the curse on Harrenhal and why, etc. in my Harrenhal's curse theory video. I'll post the link to this video at the end in case you wanna check it out. The construction of Harrenhal began around 171 years before our current time, that is in 42 BC, and we are currently in 129 AC. According to Alys, the heart trees are imbued with the spirits of those who lived long before Harren came. By this, I think she is implying that the souls of the children of the forest who used to live in Westeros long before even the first men arrived have passed into the heart trees. Since the trees Harren cut down were over 3000 years old, they were most likely planted by either the children of the forest or the first men. This gave me an idea for another crazy theory, which would explain the powers of the heart trees, how they get those powers, and how the three-eyed ravens are able to look through their eyes, etc. But I'll explain it after season 2 ends. I'm saving all of my theory videos for later. Anyways, then Alys makes Daemon drink something that makes him black out. Not only does he lose time by waking up right in the middle of a meeting, but he also starts having visions or hallucinations while he's still awake, like seeing his dead wife Laena Velaryon in a serving girl in the middle of the meeting. So what did Alys feed him? I think it's the weirwood paste. In the books, the three-eyed raven makes Bran drink this paste to awaken his powers. Bran thinks that in the torchlight, it looks exactly like blood. As for why Alys gave him the weirwood paste, I'll read a few lines from the books. Bran, will this make me a greenseer? Three-eyed raven, your blood makes you a greenseer. This will help awaken your gift and wed you to the trees. I think Alys is trying to do the same here. We know Targaryen blood has magic in them, and like I've said in lots of my crazy theory videos before, House Targaryen and House Stark have many similarities. Both have magic in their blood, which allows them to bond with particular creatures, and both have green dreams, etc. If you wanna know more about the magic in the Stark's blood, you can check out my Stark blood theory video. Anyways, I'll discuss this in more detail in another video. Remember how I have been saying in all of my videos ever since Daemon arrived at Harrenhal that his visions are connected to the weirwood trees somehow? Alys tells him even his bed is made of the weirwood trees, and every single time Daemon has a vision, you will find a weirwood tree in the background somewhere. Then Rhaenyra returns to Dragonstone and finds out that the Greens have taken Duskendale and are marching towards Rook's Rest now. So she sends Princess Rhaenys and Meleys to fight them. We also see Miss Arya secretly listening to their meeting, which makes me wonder if Miss Arya is the one who informs Cole, be it directly or indirectly, that Rhaenys and Meleys are coming. How else will Aemon know when and where to wait for the Black's dragons? We clearly saw him in King's Landing, so it's not like he was near every battle waiting for the dragons. As for why Miss Arya would inform them, you can check out my Who is the Mastermind Behind Blood and Cheese and Who is the Mastermind videos to find out. By the way, we also see all these set pieces on the painted table, and I finally figured out what most of those pieces are. The biggest pieces are for Rhaenyra and Aegon. Rhaenyra has a black three-headed dragon piece and Aegon has a gold and green Hightower piece, since in the Black's minds he is more a Hightower than a Targaryen. Then the pieces with the black stones are the Black's pieces that indicates the Houts or people supporting Rhaenyra, and the Green's armies are divided by two pieces. One, a golden piece, which I think indicates the Crown's soldiers, and these small Hightower pieces indicate the Hightower armies. You can also see a few triangle pieces with what looks like a sun on it, so it could be Dorne, but I'm not 100% sure on this because Dorne is supposed to be on the other side. What do you think this piece indicates? We also have these tiny stamps like pieces, which I think indicates foot soldiers. And last, we have dragons. Black dragon pieces are for Black's dragons, and the green and golden pieces are for the Greens. You can see 3 dragons near Aegon's piece, which I think indicates Vhagar, Sunfire, and Dreamfire in King's Landing. So based on these, you can see that King's Landing has some foot soldiers and a Hightower troop along with some green dragons, and there's a black piece and a black dragon near King's Landing, which I think indicates Bella and Moondancer. Rook's Rest still has a black piece on it, at least for now, which we'll see get knocked over in the next episode, which I've already discussed in my episode 5 trailer breakdown video. And in this shot, you can see Duskendale has a Hightower piece on it along with 4 foot soldier pieces on it, because the Blacks have received the news that House Darklyn has fallen. I don't know why they are showing a Crown's piece on Maidenpool though. Has House Mutton already declared for Aegon? What do you think? As I said in my episode 4 trailer breakdown video before, Rhaenyra tells Jace about the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy and admits she didn't completely believe it herself. I really wish we could have seen Jace's reaction, because the prophecy includes a threat in the distant north coming with a terrible winter, and Cregan Stark also told him that winter is coming and how his ancestors built a 700-foot wall of ice to protect the realm. Do you think Jace will ever manage to make the connection? Then Princess Rhaenys and Meleys arrive at the battle only to find out it was a trap set by Cole and Aemond. After Vhagar arrives and attacks her and Aegon, you can see that Rhaenys has survived and has the chance to escape, but then she decides to turn back and fight because our queen who never was is a badass. She knows this is a huge opportunity to weaken her enemies, and she doesn't run away from it despite knowing she won't survive it. You can tell she knows because it's written all over her face. You can see the sadness there. I think Aemon didn't expect Rhaenys to turn back and fight. As you can see, he seems surprised, and her gamble paid off. Even if she had to sacrifice herself, she did manage to take out her enemy's head, aka King Aegon. Well, technically Aemon did, but still the results are the same. Whether Aegon lives or dies, it doesn't matter at this point. The Greens have suffered a heavy loss just like the Blacks did. So that's what has happened with the Blacks. Let's take a look at the Greens now. Alicent asked Grand Maester Orwell to bring her the moon tea, which is pretty ironic considering this was the very action on Rhaenyra's part that drove Alicent to wear green on Rhaenyra's wedding and creating the Green faction. Because she has taken the moon tea, Alicent can't attend the council meeting and is using these hot stones to soothe her stomach pain when Larys arrives to meet her. Do you think she she is doing all of this alone because Larys has replaced her staff and she can't trust any of them? Anyways, remember what I said in my teaser trailer, details you might have missed, and season 2 episode 2 weeks ahead trailer breakdown videos? I predicted that Larys and Alicent would search the books looking for something, and that Alicent will hold something wrapped in a white cloth in her lap. It turns out only Alicent was looking through the history books, probably searching for the story Rhaenyra said Viserys had told her, or trying to find the reason why Viserys chose Rhaenyra over Aegon. What do you think she is trying to find? By the way, is it just me, or did Larys seem to know exactly what was going on in Alicent's mind? Could he have had a spy among the Septa who heard Alicent and Rhaenyra's conversation, or did one of her staff told him that Alicent was looking for something? I wouldn't be surprised if Larys had put one of his spies in the Grand Sept as well to keep an eye on Alicent. And if you are wondering that if Larys knew Rhaenyra had met Alicent, why didn't he do anything? I have already explained that in my Who is the Mastermind Behind Blood and Cheese video, where I discussed the reason why Larys would want to keep both Aegon and Rhaenyra safe, at least until he has achieved his goal. I also discussed in my episode 3 breakdown video about how and why Larys might have cleared the security so Daemon and Rhaenyra could easily sneak in and out of King's Landing without getting caught. You can check out these videos to find out more about them. Anyways, Larys tells Alicent what has happened in the council meeting. At the council meeting, Aegon was mad that Daemon had taken Harrenhal and had wanted to send Cole to take Harrenhal back. When Aemon revealed that Cole had been sharing his plans with him and was already preparing to march on Rook's Rest, Aegon got mad. By the way, I loved how childish Aegon is in this scene. When he tries to put the pins Aemon had put on Rook's Rest back on Harrenhal, like doing that would make Cole go there. So in order to shut Aegon up, Aemon decides to publicly humiliate Aegon. Aemon's High Valyrian is very good and he shows it off by talking to Aegon in High Valyrian. After he is done speaking, the council looks at Aegon expectantly, so he has no choice but to reply in High Valyrian. But you can tell Aegon's High Valyrian isn't good, so he can't even talk back to Aemon properly. At least he managed to finish one sentence, even if it was a bit broken, and Aemon knew it as well. By the way, is it just me, or did Larys seem to understand what they were saying? At least it looked that way to me from Larys's expressions. Also, remember how I mentioned in my episode 5 trailer breakdown video that Tyrion Lannister always has his book open in front of him? See, he has his book open in this episode as well. Anyways, because Aegon can't talk back in High Valyrian, Aemon continues with his plan instead of Aegon's, and Aegon was made king for being a Targaryen. Just imagine how insulted he must have felt when Aemon undermined him after insulting him in front of everyone. Later on, in another meeting, Aegon was still mad at Aemon when he heard Ironrod say, "With Daemon and Vhagar at the ready, we are a formidable opponent," which made Aegon lose his temper once again. He left the meeting, and when he went to his chamber, he found Alicent searching his room for something. When he heard she was looking for Viserys' books, he told her he threw them out, making Alicent also insult him. By the way, in this scene, I noticed 3 things. First, in this shot, you can see that while the shelf has been emptied, there is a parchment and a thin book left behind. So whoever threw out the books either didn't do a very good job of it, or they left something behind that they thought Aegon would enjoy or at least understand. Why do you think they left these behind? I also noticed something interesting in the paintings in Aegon's chambers. I have already discussed this painting in our Watch Party of Ice and Fire podcast during season 1, where we discussed the rumors about the Valyrians being half dragons since Rhaenyra, Maegor the Cruel, etc. had stillbirth, where the babies were born with scales and a tail, etc. And in this painting, I noticed a dragon which basically looks like a green version of Caraxes, that is, a wyvern type dragon with a long neck and tangled with 4 or 5 people. So I looked at the other paintings, and it seems like in almost all of these paintings, the Valyrians are laying with the dragons. Does this mean the rumors are true? Do you think there is a possibility that the Valyrians are half dragons, or is this just a way to glorify the Valyrians by showing their bond with their dragons? What do you think the dragons in these paintings mean. The third thing that I noticed isn't that important, but it was still very funny, so I thought I'll point it out. When Aegon told his king's guards to leave the room, Leon Estamont and Martin Rain turned and just bumped into each other, which made me laugh out loud at their clumsiness. These are the fearsome guards of Aegon the Magnanimous, and they can't even walk properly without bumping into each other. Anyways, after his magnificent king's guards left, Aegon tried to look for some solace by complaining to Alicent about how his council doesn't even care about his opinions, and Alicent just laughed at him, saying, "What thoughts would you have? He didn't even want to be king in the first place, but Alicent forced him into it, and now that he actually wants to do his job, she told him to do nothing and just be a puppet for others." I can't help but pity Aegon in this episode. All he ever wanted was love and respect from others, especially from his parents, but when he saw how no one thought that he was a capable ruler, he wanted to prove himself, and in trying to do so, I think he walked right into Aemon's trap. As I've said in my episode 3 breakdown video, I think Aemon intentionally provoked Aegon in the last episode, making him want to join the war, but Larys talked him out of it because, as I've said in my Who is the Mastermind Behind Blood and Cheese video, Larys wants the Greens and the Blacks to be strong enough to continue the war. So in this episode, Aemon pushed him even farther by humiliating him in front of everyone, and finding out that not even his own mother believed in him. That was the final straw for him. So against everyone's advice, Aegon decided to prove himself by joining the battle. By the way, I love how Aegon's saddle is made of gold and his handles are designed to look like Sunfire's neck, which I think was a really cool detail, so I wanted to point it out. Anyways, so here we are now. Aemon finally took his revenge on the person who actually bullied him in his childhood, instead of blaming the strong kids. Do you think Aegon bullying him in the last episode made him realize that Aegon was the real bully, since there were no strongs around to blame them this time? Aemon probably didn't expect him to show up right when his and Cole's plan to draw out the Black's dragon was about to succeed though. Like I said earlier, how did Aemon know that a dragon will show up here and to wait near Rook's Rest? Did Mysaria really tip them off? Or did they have another spy at Rhaenyra's council? Or was it just a logical deduction that Rhaenyra will send a dragon here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So when Aegon interrupted his plans, Aemon decided to do what Sansa did in the Battle of the Bastards. That is, to wait until their side started to lose before showing up at the last moment as their savior. Am I the only one who keeps seeing a lot of similarities in Aemon and Sansa? Both of them were bullied when they were young. Aemon by Aegon and Sansa by Joffrey. Both had a pet they had a psychic bond with, that is Vhagar and Lady, and both became strong later on and defeated their bullies and abusers. Maybe it's just me. Anyways, so when Aegon was losing to Rhaenys, Aemon showed up and decided to kill two birds with one flame. Was I the only one who thought Aemon was trying to kill Aegon? If you look at this scene, Aemon had his sword out when he was heading towards Aegon, and only when Cole showed up did he sheath his sword. He then picked up Viserys' dagger and just left without giving Aegon a second look. Either way, it was an epic battle where you can see how insignificant human soldiers become in the War of the Dragons. The outcome of this battle was really sad, but Cole getting knocked out and being totally useless was really satisfying to see. By the way, I also noticed Eddie Eyre, aka Sir Gerold Hightower from the Tower of Joy scene in Game of Thrones, riding behind Cole. I guess he was a Hightower soldier in his past life and reincarnated as Gerold Hightower during Game of Thrones. Why do you think they brought him in? Do you think he will play some important role? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, I know I said I wasn't going to give any shout outs anymore, but I had to hear. Sean Kilaki said, there are other channels like Grey Area doing something similar, but they don't have your Greenseer abilities. Being compared to such a great channel channel is a huge honor for me. So thank you. Your comments really encourage me to keep going no matter how hard things get around me. So I'm really grateful for all of your comments. Anyways, I'll post my episode 6 trailer breakdown video soon. If you like this video, please hit the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. 7 blessings to you.